Behind me is after a few weeks of forest fire. It burned so big area. Here used to be the area that they start to grow forest. Not many years ago. They so green, so nice last year, but now it turned to charcoal. It's so sad to see this thing. Many people blame why villagers have to burn the forest. Why they need to kill the trees. Actually, it's not only villagers to be blamed. Forest fire, it caused by everybody who need something very cheap, who want very cheap chicken, who want very cheap meat to eat. So these villagers, they have to cut the forest. They need to burn the forest because they want to decrease their investment in their farming. They want cheap land to grow corn, grow cassava, so they can sell it very cheap price. And many of them have to work in the factory, very cheap labor to make the cheap food for the chicken. And then we can have very cheap chicken in the market, very cheap meat in the market. So it's not only villagers' fault to burn the forest. It's everybody who wants cheap meat, cheap chicken. That's why this thing happened. To solve this problem, I think we need to come back to contemplate more, to see what is the real cause of this problem. Not just blame villagers, because everybody involved with it. Even people who live in the city, they create more problem than villagers who burn the forest. When we live in the city, every time when we drink water, we create one plastic bottle. Every time when we eat food, we create a styrofoam packaging. We create plastic. We create so many things. Those things is more dangerous, more serious than burning the forest. But we try to hide the problem. Nobody wants to see the problem. That's why so many problems cannot be solved on this earth, because we don't try to understand what is the cause of it. We learn so much. We study so much. There are so many universities in the world. So many people who finish university every year. So many people who spend more than 20 years to study. But all what we study is about how to hide the problem. We don't want to see the truth. We don't want to see the real cause of the problem. For example, many people like to eat meat, but they don't want to see how they kill the animal. We love to see the nice packaging in the market, and then we blame people who kill the animal that they are cruel, they are a bad person. But we eat the meat. We don't want to see that. So this is the problem in the world right now. The habit of hiding the problem like this, it creates new problem. The new problem now is we cannot solve so many simple problems. There are so many problems cannot be solved now because we don't know what is the real cause of it. And even we don't know how to solve the problem anymore because we never learn how to solve the problem much. Forest fire. It kills so many animals, so many trees. It makes the diversity of life shrink or disappear very fast. But nobody think about this much. We don't care. We just want cheap food to eat. They want cheap thing to buy. So now I think it's good time. Before we have no forest to burn, it's good time to rethink again. Think about how can we learn to solve the problem? How can we learn to come back to the root of the problem again? And we can understand each other more. Why do we have to eat only chicken, meat, eggs? We have so many things to eat on this earth. Why do we want only cheap thing all the time? Why don't we care about people who do farming, who are poor, who work a lot? How can we help them to survive in the fair price? We need to think about solution that different from the old way that we used to think before. New thinking, new idea, how to live on this earth. That's the one we want it to be. We need to come back to the soil, to the land. We need to come back to develop the soil. I think we don't have time to blame anybody anymore. We need to come back to ourselves. How can we consume less? How can we eat more diversity? Not eat only chicken, meat, or eggs. We need to eat more food, more diversity of food, because on this earth we have so many things to eat. In Thailand, we have more than 200 varieties of yam or roots underground. We have many thousand varieties of vegetables to eat. We have so many hundred kinds of grains, many thousand kinds of grains to eat. We should not eat only rice or carbohydrate and meat, chicken, eggs. We need to change our habit of eating. And then we need to change our habit of shopping. How can we do things ourselves more? How can we do our water filter system? How can we make our own shampoo? How can we make our own soap? How can we make our own food? If we come back to live in this way, we will have more saving in our life. We will have better health because we cook very good food. We eat very good thing. We don't need to work too much. And then we will have a good environment, a good nature nearby us more and more. Because the forest can give us so many things. Almost everything we can get from the forest. Food, shelter, daily needs, even medicine. We can get all of them from the forest. So now, if we learn to come back to live in this way, we will have more than we need. But if we want to cut everything down and then grow corn, cassava to feed animal, we will have not enough for ourselves. It's time to choose. It's time to change our mind. It's time to change our thinking and change our way of living. We will be happier, easier, and more fun. Time to change.